Well, hello there. And you know, time just flies. Hello there, Enchanted One, and welcome to Spirit Throw Me a Bone, your spiritual lifestyle channel, where every week we come together to cultivate our connection with the enchanted universe and coax Spirit to throw us a bone. And you know that we do this in three ways. First, we create sacred space, and we signal our intention to accept gifts of enchantment from Spirit. Second, we flex our enchantment muscles and consult the oracles of astrology and the tarot. And third, we welcome young self and discuss all manner of metaphysical and consciousness raising topics. So tonight's topic is a look back at the Sagittarius Gemini Eclipse season. What has it meant for you? So we're going to get right into that. But first, we are going to create sacred space together, like we always do. So if you haven't already, snuggle up by your altar. Maybe just grab a candle, place it on that table right next to you. Just take a deep breath, because this is your time. This is sacred time. Okay, everybody, so you know the drill. You know how we do this. We create sacred space. We create a energetic circle to kind of enclose us in sacred space together. And we do this by sort of envisioning like a blue light creating a circle around the physical space that we occupy right here, right now, but also we're going to push that circle out to include us all in virtual sacred space. And I'm going to call the directions, the four elements, the watchtowers as we call it in some traditions, to hold sentinel around the perimeter of our circle to keep the sacred energies in and the distracting energies out. So let's get started. By the air that is her breath, welcome east. By the fire of her bright spirit, welcome south. By the waters of her living womb, welcome west. And by the earth that is her body, welcome north. As above, so below, we are, in sacred space. And here we are, back again. See how easy that was to create sacred space? Did you remember to take a deep breath and kind of center yourself? Here we are together tonight, and it's another Sunday night, the first Sunday night of December. Can you believe it? I am just going to check my controls here because I'm not seeing any comments, and that has me concerned that they're not coming through. So if you'll just bear with me for a minute while I check a few things here. And how about I'll get some background music going. Where's my beautiful background music that I want here? I will find some. I see I got 4 people on, but comments aren't working. So hello to everybody, but I'm going to get them fired up here on my other system. So just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. All right. So while I'm getting my act together here, put in the comments, because I'm going to be able to pull them up here on my other application. Let me know how this new moon eclipse worked out for you, or is working out for you. It came through yesterday. So new moon, right? So this eclipse is about new moon energies, like energies for starting something, the beginning. Actually, it's the very end of the Sagittarius Gemini cycle, which we're going to talk about, but it still is a new moon. So with that, you know, we have intentions and beginnings. So how about you guys? Did you get any sort of hits with this new moon eclipse? Did Spirit throw you a bone? Let me know. And I'm going to pull up comments on my other application here so I can say hello to everybody who's with us. Because I know I can see that there are 4 of you. At least. And this is so strange because, you know, my chats were working really well there for a couple weeks, and now they're not working again. So I don't know. I just thought I like mysteriously solved the problem, but apparently I didn't. But we'll see here. Hello out there, enchanted ones. All right, I just sent a chat, but I'm not seeing any others in here, so that has me concerned that I'm not getting chats from anywhere or comments from anywhere here. We are online in both places. And connect here. All right. Well, guys, gee, it's really not fun when I can't communicate with you. Chat app. All right. Well, heck. All right, well, let's try this here. Now I don't want to update my Facebook right now or my iPhone right now. Share password. There we go. Okay, let's try it again. Reload. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, no fun. All right, do this again. join. Hooray. Chat is waiting for new messages. Oh, ain't that special. Okay. Really annoying. Okay, guys. Well, at least I could do is get some background music. Oh, yeah. There we go. All right, well. All right, I'm just going to look on YouTube here. I tell you what, Robin, if you're with me, can you send me, or anybody who has my text, can you shoot me a text and let me know what you're seeing out there, either on Facebook or on YouTube, or you can message me on Facebook. I should be able to get that. And then I'll just know what the heck is going on. Well, if I got anybody watching, I'm going to lose them because this is really boring. Okay. Okay. Yay, Kathleen. Okay, here they're coming through now. Okay, what's happening? Is there internet difficulty? No, it's not internet difficulty. Well, sort of it was. I got my laptop here and I had to connect that to the Wi-Fi here, and it was being weird for a bit, but so I'm online now. So I have on Facebook, I have your comment, and then you, Kathleen. Thank you, ladies. It's not coming through on my streaming application, which is super annoying, but I am getting them. So, and Robin, you just texted me. That's cool. Thank you. All right, so looks like I'm online now with the comments coming through on my Restream, which is a separate application for where I like to receive them. But I am getting them, guys. So thank you for joining me. And I love you guys. Like, I know every Sunday night, like, my friends are going to be here with me. And sometimes, you know, the week goes by and, you know, it hasn't been the best week, or, you know, there's something going on Sunday, but you know, when you folks join me, it really, it energizes me, and I just want to let you know I really appreciate it. So, yeah, so it's been a little bit of a challenging week. Our kitty got sick. Our kitty cat got sick, our little Waffles, and so we just got him out of the hospital tonight. So he's a male cat, so he had a little bit of a problem with his urinary tract, which is common with male cats. So please say a prayer for Waffles so that he can be healthy again. He's home now. It's kind of touch and go in terms of like whether or not his plumbing's going to work. So we're praying that he doesn't have to go back and the hospital again. But so pray for Waffles tonight, please. And yeah, so and then I did a little bit of a ceremony, a big ceremony yesterday with my medicine family, and that got me thinking a lot about you know, what is our purpose? Like, why do we think we're here? You know, the Alex, the gentleman who was leading the ceremony, along with his wife, speaks about, you know, that it's not necessary, or he didn't use these words, but basically what he said was that, you know, you don't want to set goals. What you want to do is be clear about your purpose. And so I thought that's interesting. You know, because how many self-help books do you read about purpose, and I mean about goal setting, right? Especially this time of year, you know, with the new year coming, it's like all about goal setting. What are your goals for the year? What are your goals for the new moon? What's your intention? You know, but he talks about, you know, and what is consistent with his tradition, and is that what you want is clarity of purpose. Like, what is your purpose? And that, you know, your purpose comes from your heart. And Great Spirit has a purpose for all of us. And so this whole concept of purpose, and like, you know, what is your purpose? It seems to me that really vibrates with the planet Jupiter. And Jupiter is all about belief systems and philosophies and religion even. But I think about purpose and belief systems. And Jupiter, as we know, rules Sagittarius. And we're in Sagittarius season. The sun is in Sagittarius. This new moon eclipse that came through yesterday, was it 12 degrees Sagittarius? And guess what? This is the end of the Gemini Sagittarius eclipse cycle, or eclipse season. So eclipses come in cycles, right? So the Enchanted Universe had something to teach us about this Jupiterian theme of growth, expansion, and beliefs and ideas in a broader sense of the word. And what is that? But it's also like purpose. Like, what is one's purpose? So, yeah, in ceremony yesterday, I was thinking a lot about that, and I've been thinking a lot about that. That's been sort of like my work that I've been doing personally, more and more over the past year. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about purpose. Let's talk about Jupiter and this concept of purpose. And we're going to throw in some Gemini themes in there as well, because as we know, eclipses and new and full moons involve the polarity, especially the full moon, the polarity of the two signs. And what's the opposite sign of Sagittarius? It's Gemini. So let's revisit that, guys. The Sagittarius Gemini eclipse season. But first, let's go ahead and do our astrology dance. What do you say? We just got to get warmed up for it, right? I'm here. Hold on. There we go. Why isn't there? We go. All right. There it is. Did you think I went away with all my technical difficulties tonight? Did you think I went away? No, I'm here. I really am. Let me get my music back here. There it comes back. And so yeah, so look at these dates, guys. Do you remember this? This started all the way back in June of 2020. Wow, 2020, could it really be that this eclipse cycle like started way back then? Oh my gosh, it seems like so long ago. So Okay, and then we know, right, so that these eclipses, they'll fall in certain houses, and we've talked about this before when we've gone through your charts based on your rising sign. We've talked about, okay, well, if you have Libra rising like Robin and I do, these eclipses fall in your third and your ninth house on that axis. Third house being like, you know, sort of your mindset, what you're thinking about, belief systems, but in sort of like a more mundane way. And then the ninth house being like philosophy and belief systems in a larger, more expansive way, like religion and that type of thing. So, and then what's interesting too is that, as it turns out, with Libra rising or Aries rising, these themes, these Gemini Sagittarius themes, coincide with very closely to the symbolism of the houses themselves, the third and ninth houses, where these eclipses are hitting our charts. Robin, you with Libra rising, and me with Libra rising as well. So, you know, maybe that was like a little bit confusing, but let me just share with you my experience of eclipse, this Gemini Sagittarius eclipse season, and I hope that this can maybe give you some instruction or some ideas about how the Enchanted Universe does speak through the Oracle of Astrology. And this symbolism for me, you know, when I look back on what has occurred since June of 2020 and where the shifts have been for me personally, I would say that, you know, my worldview, in terms of my like spiritual, not really necessarily interest, although it is interest, but sort of my spiritual views have changed and expanded somewhat. During this period of time, I shifted away from identifying as Wiccan, and sort of broadened my perspective, and my spiritual views to be just more broadly pagan, and you know, less about specifically goddess centric spirituality, and more in terms of like the universe and the oneness of it all. And you know, for example, I refer to deity now, I think more, I find myself referring more often to the deity as Great Spirit than I do as the goddess. You know, I believe Great Spirit encompasses it all, right? The goddess, the god, all the little, you know, deities and angels and saints and whatever, you know, they're all part of Great Spirit, as far as I'm concerned, or the all that is, as the Hermeticists refer to it. So yeah, and so Sagittarius happens to occupy my third house, which is, you know, your belief systems, the way you think, and Gemini occupies my ninth house, which is more the religion and the philosophy. So there's been that shift, you know, those eclipses really did cause me to kind of realign in a lot of ways. And then also just my thinking in terms of, and we talked about this yesterday in ceremony too, like what stories do we tell ourselves, or what stories inhabit within us, you know? And for so many of us, these stories are, sometimes they're stories of pain and loss and trauma. And, you know, everyone goes through stuff in their lives, some of us more than others, I guess. But it's all relative, regardless. But the thing is, like, how attached are we to our stories? And which stories are we attached to? And which stories serve us? And so when I think about the third house being like just, you know, your mindset, I think about the stories that inhabit us. And, you know, what story do do we carry with us on a daily basis? You know, what have we attached to? And what stories maybe don't serve us anymore? You know, like, are we going to stay back in the story of our trauma and let that define us? You know, do we speak of depression as something that you have or you own or that is you? Or do you speak of depression in a way that's, you know, either a part of you or outside of yourself, you know? And that has to do with the story, you know, like, is it, you know, I am depressed, or I'm a depressed person, or, you know, I have depression, or depression has me even, right? As opposed to, there's a part of me that experiences depression. You know, it sounds like a, you know, it doesn't sound like a big distinction, but it really is. You know, like for someone who's experienced trauma, you know, even, you know, as much as I admire folks who, you know, survive certain traumas and whatnot, sometimes I wonder if identifying as a survivor, an abuse survivor, a cancer survivor, you know, this, that, and the other, well, how are you with that story? And what is that story serving you? Is it a story of triumph, or is it a story that keeps you in the trauma, right? So are your stories serving you? That's like a third house question, right? Like, how are we thinking about these stories? So yeah, and then we get to this idea of purpose. And purpose is a broader concept. Purpose is more about, you know, the Jupiterian big picture of things. You know, so what is our purpose, and how do we identify that story? What is that story? You know, is that a forward-looking story? Is that a story that serves you? One would hope so, right? Because you want to identify with a purpose that you know, comes from your heart, right? That fills you up, that a purpose that you believe is, you know, something that is an expression of the divine through you. You know, if you think about yourselves as an instrument of creation, as an instrument of the divine, well, then what is your purpose? So these are all things that I've been thinking about. And, you know, I really feel like this Gemini Sagittarius eclipse cycle has that's been the gift for me, is to be thinking in these terms. And so, like I said, I experienced this shift in terms of my spiritual beliefs, from Wiccan to more pagan, or more in alignment with the indigenous spiritual practices, which of course brought me to the plant medicines, and that path of healing and all the ceremony that goes with that. That's so beautiful. And that's expanding, right? That's a mind expanding experience, right? To experience altered states of consciousness. That's a very ninth house kind of thing, a very Jupiter kind of thing. Also, even Mercury and Gemini, you know, Mercury rules Gemini, like how you think, right? Like the mind and the intellect. So yeah. And so just looking at these dates, because I went on the first retreat, the first ayahuasca retreat in Colombia, I did in early November. So, you know, there was that full moon eclipse in Gemini in November, late November, but November nonetheless. And then I started to journey with Los Niños, beautiful plant medicine, and that started in December. And you know, February I did another retreat in Colombia, and then yesterday, as I mentioned, I did a ceremony with my medicine family as well. So I really see my experience with plant medicines as being a manifestation of, this eclipse cycle. And what else did I want to say about that? Also, I have to say that I've changed my orientation in terms of my spiritual beliefs, like I said, from Wicca and goddess-based spirituality in a more narrow sense to a broader, more universal, I feel more universal expression of the divine, and connecting more with the ancestral knowledge of the indigenous spiritual practices. And there's also been some shifts in terms of my affiliation with, my spiritual home at the Institute for Spiritual Development. And so, I found my role there shifting. And so, that's like a religious institution, one would say, right? So, it's been a big year for me, or certainly since June of 2020. And, these eclipses have really shown up for me, or I've shown up for them. So, I'm wondering who has had similar experiences. Robin, how about you? Have you found similar themes since June of 2020 for you? Because you have Libra rising. Okay. So what are folks saying? Robin says, I've been counting the years towards retirement. Actually feeling like I have turned a corner in your career. More of a wise elder statesman and less of the frontline warrior. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. I love that. The weekend especially, I've been feeling extremely confident as the battle is over and the victory won. That's so beautiful. I love that. Yes, and Kathleen is like, yeah, that's a good feeling to have. Oh, so your experience of entering retirement was a little bit different, Kathleen? It's interesting that you bring up this retirement thing too, because that is something that our family, my husband and I are in the midst of that negotiation, and it is a negotiation, isn't it? Like in terms of like how are you gonna make this shift? How are you gonna make the arrangements in terms of income and livelihood, and then just generally lifestyle, right? Like, how are you going to spend your time? Like, what is your, here you go again, the word purpose. Like, what is your purpose moving into retirement? What do what do you see? And so I'm wondering, Kathleen, if you seem to be indicating that maybe you didn't feel the sense of ease that, or excitement even, that Robin is feeling, as he's entering retirement, or at least contemplating entering retirement. I'm wondering, Kathleen, if perhaps you'll have to tell me or tell us if upon entering retirement and contemplating retirement, you still were trying to align with a new sense of purpose, and maybe feeling like, that was not quite gelled yet, by the time you retired, that because I would imagine, I don't experience this because I've never felt really, really connected to any career in my life. I've just done the work that's made sense to do, but I've never felt like, okay, I have this career and this is my profession and it's my identity. I never landed there, ever. And I'm hoping to find that, like I said, sense of purpose. But for those folks who have, and Kathleen, I know that you spent many years at the Kennedy Center, so I would imagine that this might have been the case for you, that you did feel a sense of purpose and a certain amount of identity and fulfillment associated with your career there. I know that's, you know, my husband practices law, and that's all he ever wanted to really do. You know, he was the kind of person who, like, in school he knew he wanted to be a lawyer. He went to law school, he started practicing law, and he's just had this long, successful career as a lawyer. And, you know, so that is one sense of purpose, right, in many ways. So I would imagine that for some folks who identify so clearly with their careers, with their sense of purpose, without then finding a new sense of purpose to replace that, because you're going to retire and in many ways give that up, that it can be, you know, unsettling. Entering retirement could be unsettling because you don't have, like, what's beneath your feet. Everything is shifting without a sense of purpose, I would think. So I find myself in that position right now, you know, like trying to grab onto a sense of purpose. Like I've never really felt it connected to a career before. And now that I'm not going to be, you know, within the next year or so, I'm not going to be spending time, you know, just doing work that one does to, you know, provide a livelihood, that I'll have more time to locate that sense of purpose, you know, and maybe make a little bit of money at it. We'll see. So interested in your thoughts, Kathleen, specifically. You know, are you comfortable sharing? Like, did you feel and experience a sense of purpose, you know, at your work that you were doing at the Kennedy Center? And then did you feel, as you maybe indicated in your comment to Robin, that, you know, perhaps that feeling, that connection to a sense of purpose eluded you, at least at the beginning when you gave up your job and retired? Okay, so you say, I think that the shock of working in the same institution and department for 35 years and suddenly moving on, I realized I wasn't prepared. Sort of wished I had worked to live rather than live to work. That's interesting. So, Kathleen, you worked at Kennedy Center. Yes, Robin. Oh, wow. Okay, well, we don't need that on there anymore. Hold on. There. Hi again. So, yeah, that's kind of been on my mind. Purpose, and you know, Jupiter is bringing us some relief from this wonky astrology that we had in most of November. So, you know, things are going to be a bit easier. I mean, you know, we're going to have some challenges towards the end of the month with some other transits, but there's going to be a nice overlay with this Jupiter energy, Jupiter and Sagittarius, and then of course we're going to move into Capricorn, but still Jupiter is also going to be moving into its home sign of Pisces and picking up what they call dignity. Astrologers refer to it as dignity when Jupiter or any planet moves into a sign where it's very comfortable, or its domicile, as they say. So, yeah. So I think towards the end of from now through the end of the year, things are gonna feel a bit easier than they certainly did last month. You know, there will be some challenges after the full moon, but again, you know, we'll have to just integrate some of those. But with Jupiter in the picture, you know, there is still that chance for growth and expansion, and just the good fortune that Jupiter brings, particularly when it's in its home sign of Pisces. So there you go, guys. Wow, I've just rambled on here for quite a while. How about we pull a card? for the next week. Brenda, do what makes you happy. Find what fills your heart. Yes, Anne, thank you. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't know why it's such a challenge for me to find what fills my heart. Yeah, so we're talking about Kathleen at the Kennedy Center. Yeah, so I remember when you retired, Kathleen. I remember seeing posts about that on Facebook, so I know that must have been a pretty bittersweet time for you. Okay, guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put on where did that music come from? I'm going to put on my Be Right Back screen, and this will remind you of my old studio, which I really miss so much. And then I'm going to run upstairs and get my cards because I didn't do that before we started the stream. So here we go, guys. I'll be right back. Hey guys, I'm back. Okay, still with me? So, don't you miss my old studio? I do. Terribly. Ay. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's pull a card, guys. Should we just work with one card for this lunar cycle and just keep revisiting it instead of pulling a new card every week? And just kind of study it. But that means that you have to remember what we pulled. Hey, Kathleen, you got your deck out? Or do you want to run and get it? So I'm going to pull a card for everybody. Why don't we pull one card for for the new moon intention type, the new moon eclipse message that will carry us through to the full moon. How about that? Why don't we do that? So this is like maybe like what we're manifesting or what we're intending or what maybe we want to be aware that the universe is suggesting or intending for us, maybe. Maybe this card will be reflective of the symbolism of this new moon. Maybe it'll be a Jupiter type card or a fiery kind of card. Okay, so one card, and this card is going to be about the message of this new moon eclipse and the energies that we're working on, that we should be conscious of, that the enchanted universe is asking us to align with between now and the full moon, so that at the full moon we can harvest the wisdom of the card. Okay. Can you hear my husband doing the dishes upstairs? Oh, goodness. Okay, so we have here the Five of Cups. And let me see her. I'm going to get some music back on. Okay, Five of Cups. See that? So, what if I did this? Yeah, come on, focus, camera. So 2 cups, he's got his back to the 2 cups that are upright, and then he's looking down at the 3 cups that have spilled before him. So what do you think that symbolism says? Kind of reminds me of the conversation we were having, Kathleen, about retirement and sort of how you felt maybe at retirement, right? I'm turning down the music just a little bit. Okay. So let's see what Susie Chang says about the Five of Cups. Okay, so this is a water card. Cups is water. And I don't know my correspondences. Here, look, I turn right to it. The Five of Cups is associated with Scorpio. And the Five of Cups is known as the Lord of Disappointment. And it's Mars and Scorpio. Wow, that's a Scorpio card. You know, Mars is getting in on the action on all this beautiful Jupiter stuff. So, you know, Jupiter wants to expand and Mars wants to slice and dice. So there's got to be some negotiation going on here. So I'm not surprised to see that. So I guess just we need to be aware of some competing energies here. What does she say? I'm just going to go to the... Whatever you may think of it, the Five of Cups is a powerful talisman. When you draw the Five of Cups, you may well be in mourning for something. Although no one wants to hear it when enduring something grievous, loss and love do go hand in hand. It's right there in the tarot arithmetic, where abundance, 3 of Cups, plus love, 2 of Cups, equals disappointment, 5 of Cups. Wait, abundance and love equal disappointment? No, I guess so. Well, the 3 of Cups are the ones that are on the ground, and the 2 of the Cups are the ones that are standing up. Suppose you face the grief head on, exposing yourself to the fullness of the experience. Suppose, even as your heart quakes with absence, you recognize the reality of past joy. Then, once the river of your tears has passed under the bridge, perhaps it will be possible to turn back to the living and raise a glass to what's to come. Huh. Here's a poem. I'm going to read this poem. So the author chose this poem to go with the 5 of Cups. Mythic Fragment. When the stern god approached me with his gift, my fear enchanted him, so that he ran more quickly through the wet grass as he insisted to praise me. I saw captivity in praise against the leer. I begged my father in the sea to save me. When the god arrived, I was nowhere. I was in a tree forever. Reader, pity Apollo at the water's edge. I turned from him. I summoned my invisible father. As I stiffened in the god's arms of his encompassing love, my father made no other sign from the water. Well, there you go. Okay. All right, let's see what Barbara Moore says about the 5 of Cups. She tends to be pretty straightforward here. Good old steampunk tarot and Barbara Moore's interpretation. Cups. Oh yeah, I've seen this guy before. I'll see if I can get him on the screen for you. Core meaning, experience of loss and grief. Approach the situation with tenderness. This is a time of deep sadness and loss. Wait a minute. I thought we were going into... I thought Jupiter was going to be giving us some good fortune. Feelings are raw and intense. Be on hand with libations and sympathy. There are times when there's nothing to be done except have a good long cry. Reading tip. While mourning a loss is normal, if there is concern about extreme or unhealthy lengths of depression, watch for the Ten of Swords or the Moon along with this card. Okay, well, we only pulled one card. Okay, how about this, guys? Let's pull another card. And this card is going to tell us what the antidote is for the 5 of Cups. Like, how can we deal with this 5 of Cups energy? What's the way out? Like, there's not really going to be any way out. I mean, the Oracle served up a message, right? We asked for a message. They gave it to us. So we can't be like, okay, I don't like that one. Let me pull another card. No, that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're pulling another card to provide us some insight into how best to move with the 5 of Cups energies or the archetype, how to like make friends with the process. Okay, so here's the card that's going to give us that guidance. All right, so here she is. 9 of Pentacles. Okay, so my thought about the 9 of Pentacles, just before I even read anything, is what do I see here? But I see a woman of means who's in a fertile garden. She's holding a falcon on her hand, and she's got lots of coins around her. These are the pentacles. So the card speaks to me of abundance, more like material abundance. So I would say my thought here is that, you know, the cups being about emotion and the interior life, um, that's kind of like being, it's not really like being in your head in terms of like the swords and like, you know, maybe the two of swords being like, okay, like, you know, you're a prisoner in your own mind, or prisoner of your own mind, or something like that. But it does suggest to me that maybe just connecting to some a feeling of abundance or the mundane world in some ways might be helpful, and to you know, not go down the rabbit hole of the scarcity mindset. Let's see what Barbara Moore says about the Nine of Pentacles, because remember, this is going to be our antidote to the Five of Cups. Come back. Oh, come on. Sorry, guys. It's taking me a little while. Oh! Five of Pentacles. Alright, well. Was that the Five of Pentacles? No, this is not. It wasn't the Five. It was the Nine of Pentacles. Jeez, come on, Brenda. Here she is. Maybe I can show you this. It's going to come up. Whoa. There we go. So that's the Nine of Pentacles in the Steampunk Tarot deck. Look at the beautiful bird she's got. And core meaning, accomplishment. When your reading is graced with this card, make sure you appreciate it. The Nine of Pentacles is an excellent sign that life right now is quite good. You worked hard for everything you have. You have every right to indulge and enjoy it all. Okay, so we shouldn't be so morose. Right? We should focus on the Jupiter stuff, right? We should focus on life is good. We should appreciate it. Like, let's not get stuck in our stories that, like we were saying earlier, of scarcity and depression and doom and gloom, right? Like, think about those two cups that are standing upright in the background. Of the Five of Cups. So I'm gonna put the Five of Cups on here is, let me show you on here. Yeah, there's the Five of Cups there. So in the Rider-Waite, there's three cups that are on the ground, and there's a guy in a black robe looking down at it like this with his head down. He's looking at the spilled cups, where behind them are two cups that are upright. So it's like he's focusing on loss when he's got his back turned to, you know, what still is, you know, opportunity or growth or abundance. So yeah, so let's focus on the upright cups. Because our beautiful Nine of Pentacles is certainly doing that, right? Where'd she go? Come back here. Our Nine of Pentacles. Accomplishment. So think about what you've accomplished. All right, guys, it's about that time to wrap up here. Yeah. So thank you for joining me tonight. I just want to remind you guys to please hit that like button, right? Where's my CTA? There we go. On YouTube or Facebook, either one, whichever one applies, please hit that like button. I know you guys have all subscribed by now. Anybody new out there lurking, don't forget to subscribe and like and all that good stuff. Appreciate you joining me tonight. We're gonna turn off Spotify and we're going to wrap up this puppy here tonight. Thank you again for joining me. And we're going to go over here to the altar. Whoop, what happened there? Come back. And we're going to open our circle. There we go. Do it. We're going to go the opposite direction. We're going to thank the elements and the watchtowers, and we're going to do it this way. By the earth that is her body, thank you, North. By the waters of her living womb, thank you, West. By the fire of her bright spirit, thank you, South. And by the air that is her breath, thank you, East. As above, so below, the circle is open. Thank you all again for joining me tonight. And make sure you join me next week. Same enchanted time, same enchanted channel. In the meantime, don't get too pulled down by that old Five of Cups, but be aware that, you know, the Oracle has spoken for a reason. So we're going to pay attention to the Five of Cups, but also the Nine of Pentacles. So in the meantime, between now and next week, be well, be true, be sacred, be you.